In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a social work supervisor, a Gestalt practitioner, and an entrepreneur extraordinaire. She's going to share with us her entrepreneurial journey as well as how you can get started as an international social work entrepreneur yourself. Welcome back to the channel, Rich Social Workers. I'm your host, Eva Ford, and today I'm so excited because on the channel we have got international social work superstar and my friend Marie Sparks. Now, Marie is a trained psychotherapist. She's trained in Gestalt therapy. She's also a supervisor of social workers here in Jamaica, and she spends part of her time in Jamaica and in the UK, and she will tell you more about that. In Jamaica, Marie is regarded as one of the top practitioners when it comes to helping people heal from issues of sexual abuse and violence, as well as trauma. So help me welcome our guest for today, Miss Marie Sparks.
Oh,
Yay! Round of applause.
So nice.
Round of applause. That's actually very limited in terms of how I would want to introduce you and what I would want to say. So could you share with the people a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
All right, I'll share. Well, as you said, my name is Marie. I practice in residential social work in the United Kingdom up until 2004. I had a dream at that time to come to Jamaica and be in Jamaica and contribute in Jamaica in a way that was powerful to the impact of my clients. So I, followed my dream, and that's a dream that I'm sure is on another video, and got here and have found my niche in working with the healing of victims who have suffered or survivors who have suffered from sexual abuse, rape, exploitation, and trafficking. Along the way, my work has involved not only working with individual persons, but working with groups of persons who need to heal, families who need to heal from trauma, and also the agencies who respond to those clients. So the police, social workers, guidance counselors, doctors, nursing associations, those persons who first respond to the victim or the survivor of sexual abuse. I've found that I've done a lot of work with them based on my clients' feedback and based on the knowledge and body of training that I've done in the UK to help ameliorate the situation with sexual abuse victims. So that's a bit about me in terms of the work.
Now, when I met you, that was not the focus of your work. And I think it would be great to talk about your evolution as an entrepreneur in this space.
Okay. Well, you're quite right. The focus of my work when you met me was providing spaces, providing opportunities for young men from the UK to have an educational experience in the Caribbean. That seems a far cry from the current work. However, that came about from me working in residential communities and homes in the UK and realizing that young black men really needed an opportunity to make the journey across adolescence in a positive way with as much support as possible. And in terms of our communities, black communities in the UK, we don't have many options for our black young men to actually flourish and succeed. Things are stacked against them. So offering them that opportunity of coming to Jamaica and seeing people like themselves in positions of power, leading roles such as all of the systems in the Caribbean have black male leaders, and that's a really, really big thing that you can't purchase for young black men in the UK. So, in doing that, in preparation for providing that service, which I did with my team for quite a few years, maybe 4 years before the 2008 crash, financial crash. We done a lot of preparation on how best to take care of our residential clients, because they would be staying with us residentially, and training to protect young people was something that I know and do well. And so I trained teams that were going to be working with me, and invited in fact, the principals of the schools where the children were going to reside to be at the training, to get to know who we were as a team, as a company. And in doing so, they experienced the training around protecting young people from sexual abuse, managing that situation. And so I became a go-to person for principals initially when they encountered issues of sexual abuse at school. And I would advise them as to how best to deal with those issues and how to utilize services that already exist in Jamaica, such as the then Child Development Agency, and practitioners who operated in their local areas, to engage with them to get the best outcomes of those difficult situations within schools. When the worldwide crash happened, it became difficult for families to send one child to Jamaica to have a Caribbean educational experience, because the population that we had enlisted in private schools here in Jamaica. So it became difficult. So more of the work that we done training around in order to protect those young people was something that we started to um, deliver that training within Jamaica. And the training that was called upon the most was the work around sexual abuse. And I felt very comfortable with that work, because I'd done a lot of that work in the UK. And really enjoy it. It's a privilege to be on a journey when somebody's really in need and they trust you with some of the most difficult things about the trauma that they've experienced, the intimacy that they have to reveal to you to actually get to the truth of the issue, and then be able to journey along with them to that position of healing. And for me, what I've managed to find is I've managed to find a medium in where, or a formula where I work with my clients to the point where they're flourishing. In Jamaica, we use that word much more than we use it in the UK.
Flourishing?
Flourish.
Flourish.
So, when you're not only repaired some of the damage caused by the sexual abuse, but you've gone beyond that to enrich and nurture those mechanisms that heal, are the same mechanisms that allow you to flourish in life. Taking high regard of what your needs are in the moment, addressing those needs in the moment, putting other things that are detrimental to your health aside, even though you might be very congruent. You might be at one with those things that are detrimental to your health. But when you start to dissect that and take those, separate that and take those apart and put things down that are not healthy for you, what you allow yourself is to create a new environment for yourself. So you create a new environment for yourself. I help my clients to create new environments for themselves where they're in their optimal place. So then you start to see a new person emerge that you've never seen. Well, I've never seen. Other members of that person's family may have seen that person, but when they come to me, I'm not familiar with that person. But as they begin to get into the environment that's optimal for them, you start to see this brand new human being, and it's magical, you know. And you can really touch base with the person's essential self, and as you introduce things for them to want to live for, you introduce aspirational things for them to start looking from here inside to out there and where I want to go and what I'd like to experience. And possibilities.
Right. Okay. So thank you for explaining that. And actually, I was reminded of that transition, how you were able to make that transition from working with adolescent boys into the work that you're doing now through what you've just shared. And I think one of the things that a lot of the subscribers to this channel will want to know is, how did you even get to want to do international social work, and how do you make that transition? I know you said earlier that you had a dream, and a lot of people ask me as well, you know, they want to come to Jamaica or they want to work internationally, and there's a lot of ways to work internationally. International social work can look like a lot of different things. So I don't know if you're able to share what your journey into
That
social
dream?
work. Well, but you made the dream a reality.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you would want to share what that journey looked like for you, or what you would have done differently if you wanted to do that journey again. But if you can share with the audience something that will give them some insight into how to transition into international social work, or social work outside of where they're locally doing it now, on an international basis, if they were going to do it for themselves.
Okay. Well,
I know that's a big question.
That's a big question.
Yeah,
Let me see what I can do about it.
yeah.
You know,
And I will qualify that there are a lot of ways that parlaying your skills into work outside of your country can look like. There's a lot of ways. But you're here, we want to know what your way looked like.
My dream, I'm laughing because, you know, this is rich social worker. So
Yes.
being a rich social worker,
Yes.
there's components to your dreams that you don't always, you know, expose. So part of my dream was to be in a great relationship, and there was a great relationship waiting for me in Jamaica. And part of my dream was to um, have my children experience being the most important citizen in a country. Now, being black young women or black children at the time, that I wasn't, I was sure that they weren't going to be treated their best way in the UK.
Oh.
Because, you know, racism still exists in the UK. And it did, you know, some 18 years ago when I made that journey. So for me, one of the things that I value about Jamaica is when you walk into a business, you know, once you're basically clean and tidy, people treat you like first class citizens. They ask you questions, they engage in business with you, they expect you to engage in business with them. When you go to, you know, your institutions to do business like finances, taxes, land purchase, everybody's treated seriously and, you know, with high regard. And that's what I wanted for my children. I wanted them to experience black people being treated with high regard, and that their dreams and aspirations be considered to be real ones. Whereas I felt when I was younger, a lot of my peers' dreams and aspirations were almost viewed as fantasies. You know, especially if you had really high dreams and hopes and aspirations,
Mhm.
as young black people, there was a sense that this might not be possible
Mhm.
for you or
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
So I didn't want my children to have that experience.
Mhm.
So being here in Jamaica, we've got black pilots, we've got
Oh yeah.
Jamaican
Yeah.
pilots, and we've got Jamaican newsreaders,
Mhm.
and we've had them for years.
Mhm.
We've had them for years. Yes, the UK can say they have those persons in
Mhm.
place now, but not when I was growing up, and not when my children were growing up. So that was a dream,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited
Mhm.
by what's happened for them.
Mhm.
That's another role.
What's happened for your children?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
happening for my children
Yes.
is really exciting.
Yes.
Because I've got one daughter teaching in China
Uh-huh.
and traveling around the world,
Mhm.
and I've got one daughter ready to start a fine arts degree program in the UK. So I'm excited for them and what's happened.
Mhm.
Um, you know, in terms of working with
How did you how did you make the transition from there to here?
from
To be an international social worker, to say that you work globally. You had the dream, but then how do you actually make the transition?
Okay, so how you make the transition is stop saying that it's going to happen or you want it to happen, but actually, this is what's happening, and now I need to put things in place. So I find for myself that often I'm dreaming of things and I talk about it with that language. But when you change the language to say, hey, I am going to be in Jamaica in 6 months.
Yeah.
What is it I'm going to do to sustain my life? How am I going to do that? How am I going to take the best of what I have here, what I've learned here, my skills here for generating income? How am I going to take that and put it in place in this new environment? That begins to be the doing.
I like that. So it's really changing your inner dialogue from wouldn't this be nice to I'm doing this. And if I'm doing this, then what are the things I need to put in place?
Right.
Ah.
If I'm doing this.
If I'm
so it's
doing
just like I say to people ask me this question all the time. Other practitioners who I meet face to face, they will ask me the question, and I said, look, if you're leaving Mandeville,
in Jamaica. Mandeville is a town in Jamaica.
Yeah, where we are, our town, and you're going to Kingston,
which is the capital of Jamaica.
Right.
Not near to Mandeville, about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're leaving and you're going, what do you need to do to go? It's simple. We do this every week. Some of us do this every day. What do you need to do to go? If you're going to extend that journey and you were going to leave Mandeville to go to the UK, what would you need to go? And if when you go there, you're going to go to work, how are you going to do that? How are you going to go to work? What are the things that you're going to need to do? Are you going to find an employer? Are you going to start applying for jobs? Are you going to use some kind of entrepreneurial way of packaging your work and meet your client base in Jamaica? How are you going to know that your client base is there? You have to get down, be there on the ground, find the venues that you're going to be working in, if it's your own place. Talk to prospective employers about whether your skills that you currently have are useful within this new context. You have to do that, and then people start to think about you as a resource.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I think it starts with what you said or alluded to just now, a skills assessment for yourself. What do I have to offer? A lot of people come to me, I don't know if they come to you, but they ask what's available there. And I say, well, what skills do you have? What do you have to offer? Because there's a lot that's available in a lot of places. But when you assess your skills and you say, okay, this is what I have to offer, this is my niche, or this is my passion, or this is what I'd like to learn more about, and this is the area where I'd like to grow and develop, then you can really get into that area that you want. Do you find the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I do find that. I find so me coming to Jamaica, and I think you were on one of the journeys with me when I headed up to Kingston, and knocked on the door of the then CDA, and
That's the Child Development Agency.
yeah.
Yes.
So, because I know it's something, this
Yes,
child
it's family.
protectorate.
Yes, it's CPFSA.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I was like, Eva, I need to speak to the directors of the Child Development Agency. And that's not an easy thing in Jamaica because our leaders are very well insulated and protected. Yet I found that I needed to share with them my vision on healing, share with them my vision on managing the dynamics of sexual abuse at that time. So to help them, like I felt like I have something that can assist in this area. And because I was so persistent and kept knocking at the door and was willing to wait, I got through the door and I began. That was one of the conversations that I had with persons who were going to be prospectively my colleagues, and business partners in some senses. Because when you're booked for consultancy from a government agency, you're working together.
Okay, I have. Thank you for that. But I happen to have some insight into some other components of your journey, because I don't want people to think that, oh, the only way that I can make money or be an entrepreneur in another country is to get in good with the government contractors, because you were actually doing some things on your own.
Oh, absolutely.
Before you even knocked on those doors.
Absolutely.
One thing that stands out to me, and I would love to hear your process for how you developed this, because you were the first person that I heard talk about creating a brunch. And at the time, I didn't really get it until I got in the room. And even though we had prep time for it and everything, but can you share with my audience what that was, and how you came up with that concept, and how you were able to use that to leverage your expertise so that you could seem credible to these government agencies?
Okay, you ask such a big questions, Eva.
That's what I do. I am the rich
you're,
social worker.
You're actually talking about the therapy luncheons.
I'm talking about the therapy luncheons.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. And I know you would have done some other things, but the therapy luncheons stand out in my mind as one of the entrepreneurial things that you did and you used to parlay into other contracts.
Okay. So with the therapy luncheon, basically, I always have a venue that I can work therapeutically from. Sometimes that is my home, or sometimes that's a house near my home. I think property. My parents, my mother is a very big person in property. She loves turning property.
Real estate.
So I recognize the value of space. So I always have a space where I work from my home base, where I can do therapeutic work. So sometimes that's doing therapeutic work individually, and sometimes that's doing therapeutic work in terms of a group work. What I found was that within the context of Jamaica, the majority of people don't reserve resources for their own healing and for their own well-being. And so they've got a limited amount of resource to actually say engage in therapy. And when you're working independently and for yourself, you need to engage your clients in the idea that they have to contribute towards their healing. So a lot of persons were coming forward. This was an issue that we was having in terms of client contributions. And I said, you know what, Eva, we can get as much healing done, and to the team I was working with, we can get as much healing done with one person coming for an hour or 90 minutes. We can get 20 people experiencing healing in 4 hours. And when you look at the figures, that works. And when you look at the
When you look at the financial,
when you look at the figures in terms of 4 hours
yes.
and 20 clients.
Oh, okay, yes.
4
yes,
hours
yes.
and 20 clients. Look at the
Yes.
healing that gets done.
Yes.
If you're using the 4 hours traditionally, you'd be getting 4 clients in
Yes.
that time.
Yes.
I'm talking about 20 clients.
Yes.
In
the
4
same
hours.
4 hours.
And
right.
I'm also talking about 20 contributions.
Yes.
Financial contributions.
Yes.
In the 4 hours.
Yes.
But if you're going to do that, you have to put the work in.
Yes.
You have to put the
preparation.
the therapeutic interventions
yes.
in.
Yes.
So you have to know what you're doing. So
yes.
what the therapy luncheon became was a way to offer therapeutic interventions to the clients, the same clients who have issues of sexual abuse, in a way that was palatable, in a way that they felt they would contribute to and enjoy contributing. Jamaicans love food. We love coming together and eating in all different circumstances.
Yes.
So healing, I felt, would be no different. So we decided to make a really holistic healing set of meals for this therapy luncheon. We decided to place it on a Sunday when women would feel is an opportunity to nurture themselves. And we decided to give them a menu, just like a menu of food, we give them a menu of healing interventions using the best practitioners who were at the top of their game in terms of the intervention shared and exposed. So sometimes that would be members of the Pure Potential team, which is my company, or sometimes that would be a practitioner who wanted to share something with our client group and with the practitioners that they felt was really a healing tool, a powerful healing tool. And so we worked in combination with outside practitioners, and we called the whole thing from start to finish the therapy luncheon. We dressed the house, we considered the clients our very, very special guests, best tablecloths out, best aromatherapies out, best look for the place, and these were our guests, and we were going to do our best work. And so that was what the therapy luncheon was about, our best work. And we told the clients to come in their best, with their best hopes and aspirations. We encourage, them wearing their dresses that they would wear to church. Jamaica is a very Christian orientated place. So talking about, putting your best forward in that way was translatable. And we got some really serious work done.
We got some serious work done. I do remember that. And could you talk a little bit about some of the transformations that happened there? Because I think had you not had, or had your clients not had healing and been successful in that space, I don't know that you would have been able to share that and prove that you were legit yourself in offering value. So I don't know. Are you able to share some of the, or just something general?
What I can say is we would have a range of clients with a range of issues, with a range of, they'd be at a range of different places on the journey of healing. So there might be a client who would come in and not talk to anybody at all, sit in a corner and just wish that, they hadn't been asked to come. There would also be clients willing to talk about their journeys and, the pain that they were feeling, what they were doing with the pain, how challenging it was. And there would be persons who were, who had been working with me individually. A lot of these women would be working with me individually, who were in a place to help other people. So in terms of that journey, we saw different things happen, different successes. So we saw the young women who would come in the corner and sit there bowed. We saw them, animated after a year or two of this work. We saw them animated. We saw them, looking completely different. engaging with other people, offering their phone number as support, doing things within the community, opening spaces for to talk about sexual abuse within their own churches or their communities. That's huge. From coming into a room and not being able to hold somebody's vision, they wouldn't, and then going out in the community and introducing similar spaces, that was success. There were young and old women who, but I'm thinking about a particular woman who took on a dream to pull herself out of the situation that she was experiencing. She'd been raped. She'd been sexually abused as a child. She'd been raped as an adult, and she was also in a toxic environment at home. And she decided that she was going to. She was at university. She decided that she was going to open her own business, and that she was going to use products within Jamaica to open this business. And she moved from a place of being very silent, very very angry, to having a business that was international. First nationally, we had national recognition, and then internationally. No, that was enormous movement. And when we worked together, she acknowledged that it was the healing that came from the individual work and from the group work that really allowed her to start to speak to other people, to value herself, to value her environment, to take something from the environment and grow it just like she was going to grow herself. And so we have successes like that. We have different individuals succeeding in a way that made a footprint in the public arena. I think that is really what was key to the therapy luncheons outcomes, the success in terms of outcomes. Our clients became public with their healing and what they were willing to now engage in with their life. So that success and them taking it out into the public domain, becoming part of our training programs. When we've done the training programs to enrich the social work program at the bachelor's and master's level at NCU and UE.
And those are local universities.
Yeah, sorry. When we done training programs, we were able to bring, or the clients themselves would offer to come along on the training programs that taught practitioners how to take better care of them and people that had experienced what they experienced. That is a big thing for a client to be saying, I want to be part of this change of how practitioners work with people who are raped and suffering from the issues of sexual abuse. That's going into the public sphere. So I think because a lot of our work deals with your highest aspiration, a lot of the time your highest aspiration takes you into the public domain, and then we were able to bring people who were practitioners in different heads of ministry and allow them access to see how people were actually healing and what they felt about the healing. And they were able to do the measurements themselves, sending their practitioners to sit in and observe, send their practitioners to meet for supervision, and that then legitimized the work.
Thank you for that. Is there anything, as you reflect on your journey, is there anything that you would have done differently or even wished would have happened a little differently?
Absolutely, there are things that I would do differently. But before saying what I'd do differently, I'd say to our listeners that you have to make a start.
Start.
You have to make a start. You have to, even though there are things that you would do differently, you have to begin the journey. That's a must. So don't let what I'm now going to say stop you from doing what you have to do. What I would do differently is I would do more research on how finance works in the country that I'm going to. That's what I would do. I would look at my business and my services and look at how that society actually engages with those type of services. And when I um, look at that, I would see how suited am I to make income in that um, financial arena. Okay. The other thing that I would do, so doing that will give you a clue before you uproot and leave. Doing that ground research there. The other thing that I would do is I would look at what I'm already doing, what I'm already engaged in, and see if I can make a stream of income from whatever I'm from wherever I am. So if I'm in the UK, if I'm in Canada, wherever I am, if I'm in Ethiopia, if where I am, is there a stream of income that I can develop right here where I am that I can use all over the world? Because streams of income are the thing that make you buoyant, allow you to um, allow you to operate wherever you are. You can have passion about whatever your field is, but at the end of the day, we all live off of money.
Yeah.
And so understanding money, understanding how to make money, understanding how to make money in the environment that you're going to and the environments that you want to live in are very important. That's what I would say. And if you can learn how to develop streams of income, multiple, so you don't it doesn't have to be like for me, you asked me, I think, what does a rich social worker mean to you, Marie?
I haven't asked you that yet, but what does being a rich social worker mean to you?
So what a rich social worker means to me is that it means that I can operate wherever I have an interest to deliver my work. And I can operate and be able to afford to be wherever my family are and gathering together. And my family is all over the globe. And so being a rich social worker means that I can be with my family when I want to be and when I need to be and when there's celebrations, and I can operate and deliver healing mediums in the countries that I have an interest for, but also that I can create something for me, particularly where I can create something at my home base, which is in Jamaica, that allows people from all over the world to come to Jamaica and experience me doing my thing and them adding to my thing. So for some of the time, that means clients who are needing healing from anywhere in the world that feel like they would love to experience that healing process with me. I want to be able to accommodate them. I want to be able to nurture them, share with them, work with them. But also practitioners who have a similar interest to me, who I feel that there's some synergy that we can work together and that they may add to my work and I may add something to their work. I want to have a space for them to come and experience that work with me and be able to have that as a service for them. So have that international experience that I engage with for a German social worker. or a Brazilian social worker or a Chinese practitioner, for us to come together and there is a space for you to have this experience. I know that doesn't happen very often. Like I haven't found somebody in Brazil who has a space for me to experience how they work there, and I can buy into that. I can contribute. I can buy into that and enrich my learning by being over there. I want to be able to provide that. I am working at providing that. And that for me is the ultimate in being a rich social worker, being able to engage with people from all over the world and bring about, inspirational change and be able to have my clients come. And once we can work out, they can work out that space in their life to come and have that experience of healing. That is something, and I can work with them on all levels, and get them to that place that they really know they deserve to have in their life in this lifetime. That's what being a rich social worker is.
Yeah, and so just to recap, I think you're saying that for you, being a rich social worker means being and working wherever you want to be, when you want to be there, and also having the wherewithal to create your own space, which you're doing now in Jamaica, to have people come and get healing for themselves, but to offer that service for them in a way that you want to be able to provide it. Yes?
In a way that brings them healing. I don't
in a way that brings them healing that also suits your personality and your style and your comfort level. Is that true?
I would say that is true.
And the reason why I'm making the distinction is because I think sometimes in social work, we give so much of ourselves and we forget ourselves. We forget to provide for ourselves in the equation of helping our clients. So sometimes I think we may do ourselves a disservice and operate in ways that don't necessarily fit with our personality.
Yeah.
And fit with the ways that we can shine so that we can then bring out the best in others. And so
Absolutely.
Knowing you, I know that there's a specific way you like to work. And I definitely think it's in line with healing for clients. But it also ensures that you have the energy that you need to have. It ensures that you have the food to sustain you that you need. It ensures that you're surrounded by the things that fill you up so that you in turn can support the people that you're inviting into the space to help to heal. Would you say that that's accurate?
That is very accurate.
Okay, good.
That's
Can I get a high five
you
on that?
get a
Okay,
high
good.
five on that.
All right, good. Just want to be clear with that because again, I think a lot of times.
That's the richness.
I love that. That's the richness.
That's the richness.
Yeah.
So I can add that. That I already have.
Yeah.
That I already have in terms of the space in London for me is it's a really beautiful space, and I'm fortunate to have that space. And I've got beautiful family members around me, and the space here in Jamaica that is a beautiful space, and I want to say gardening twice. Gardening is one of my healing modalities, my newest tool, and I'm able to do that and share that. But rich social worker, always the primary things are streams of income, making sure that all of those nice things that you say are underpinned by streams of income that allow you to make passive money. So you don't want to use every single hour of your day making money in an hourly or weekly or salary type of way for me to be a rich social worker. Money needs to be coming in a way that allows me to have the freedom to forget about the hours, forget about the days, forget about the weeks, and be engaged fully in
Mhm.
the process I am with my
Mhm.
clients
Mhm. Mhm.
and with other practitioners who were engaging in,
Mhm.
cutting frontiers and
Yeah.
new learning and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You're actually the one that helped me to get on this path because I remember one day when I was teaching at a university and it was a Sunday, I think, and we had spent part of the day together. And as we were parting, um, you asked me what I was going to do. And I said, oh, I've got so many papers to grade. I'm going to go in, I'm going to mark papers, and that's going to be my evening and my next week. And I said, what are you going to do? And you said, oh, I think I'm going to get up late and then I'm going to have my toes done and then I'm going to do something else. And
Go to Treasure Beach.
I don't know where it was, but it struck me that first of all, it's not a weekend that you're talking about. You're talking about doing this self-care ritual in the week. And how do you get to do that? And it's, kind of matter of fact. And here I am working my tail off for peanuts and I'm stressed out. And I said to you, I want that life. And you said, again, very matter of factly, well, you can have it. Just create it. And I remember that light switching on for me and that being kind of, like you said, asking the question and deciding to do it. But for me, that was kind of like the beginning of, oh, wait, I can have a different life. And it just means I need to start thinking about things differently and learning about, in asking myself that question, it took me on the path of learning about creating multiple streams of income and learning about creating. You also helped me to think seriously about creating a space that was nurturing for myself so that I could then be my best self and learn new things and build this rich social work empire that I'm on the journey to build. So thank you for that. But I just wanted to make sure that our viewers as well had a sense that this you matter too. You matter in this rich social work journey, in a social work journey, period. In the life journey, how about that? You matter. And just like Marie said, the multiple streams of income are just kind of they're the basis. Mm-hmm. They're the fundamental part of living the life that we want to live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
freeing yourself from maybe that monotonous going into work, being part of that system that doesn't free you to do what you want. You might enjoy going to work and doing what you do 9 to 5, but there might be also, I imagine, for those passionate, something that you want to do that needs to free you from that clock. That is that's significant.
Yeah. I'm gonna do.
I want to say one thing. The other thing is, it's not just the work. We've talked about both things, but it's also like being able to step off and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna spend part of the summer with my daughter, and I want to spend some time with her because she's an adult now and she's got her own enterprise going on. But for us to remain having relationship, sometimes it means stopping, pressing pause, and having a month with her or a month with both of my daughters, wherever they are at that time, and that feels really rich. Like I went to China in the summer, it's just gone, and experienced us being together in this environment and experience what she was able to give me the highlights of living and working in that society, some of the real beautiful things for her about living there. And when I'm in the UK, I make sure I stop and do the things that I find beautiful to me in being in London, going to the theatre, going to alternative markets. I love going to markets. It's a big thing. The gardening, that's the second one. The gardening world in the United Kingdom There are potty about gardens. So they have garden shows and different plants exhibited and things that are really each day I look for something that's going to nurture me. Even just before I came for this interview, I realized, oh, you know, in our phone call, it looks like there's going to be at least 10 minutes. You know, I'm going to arrive 10 minutes before the team. And I went to the plant shop just down the road. And I said, you know what? Just let me just feast my eyes on these plants. And those 10 minutes doing that has made my morning completely different, made my interview with you, you know, I feel in a great place. And after I've seen plants, and so it's about nurturing yourself, putting in the richness in your own life, understanding what the richness is for you, and plugging it in, and not saying it can wait till the end of the day, because the day is my day. What I choose to give you on my day, that's the turnaround for me. The day belongs to me, and then I choose to give some to work, I choose to give some to family, I choose to give some to communities, but the day starts off with being my day. And isn't that a rich way to live?
Absolutely. So, Marie, thank you so much for being here. This has been a great time, as we always have. Can you tell the people how they could get in touch with you?
Well, you can get in touch with me at mariesparks.com. I have my website up.
Yes.
So you can take a look at some of the things that we've been talking about.
Yes. Yes.
And you can obviously contact me through the Rich Social Worker.
Yes, I'm going to put up some of her links as well so that you can like, follow, subscribe, share, all of the things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So everybody, thanks again so much for being here, and make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and let us know if you want any support on your journeys. We are here to support you. Thanks, guys.